Today, we're diving into the story of a medication that is, well, nothing short of a microscopic miracle. It's a drug that saves lives every single day, but its story doesn't start in a high-tech lab. Nope, it starts in a simple handful of dirt. This is the incredible story of Tacrolimus.
So let's set the stage. Imagine you've just received a new organ, a new kidney, a new heart. It's literally the gift of life. But your immune system, which is designed to be your ultimate bodyguard, sees this new organ as a foreign invader and gets ready to attack. So the big question is, how do you tell your own body's army to stand down? Well, that is the exact problem Tacrolimus was born to solve.
And the solution, wasn't cooked up by chemists in a lab. It was found in the most humble place imaginable, the Earth itself.
Okay, get this. Back in 1984, researchers were analyzing a soil sample from a mountain in Japan, and they found this unique little bacterium. Now, this is a process called bioprospecting, basically treasure hunting for new drugs in nature. And what they found was that this bug was making a compound that, while it was technically an antibiotic, it wasn't very good at killing other bacteria. But what it was amazing at was shutting down the immune system. And just like that, this natural compound became the blueprint for Tacrolimus.
So, what's its superpower? How does a molecule from the dirt stop one of the body's most powerful defense systems dead in its tracks? To understand that, we've got to zoom way in, all the way down to the cellular level. The whole drama, the whole battle, it all plays out inside the very cells that are supposed to lead the charge against the new organ, the T cells. Tacrolimus acts like a covert agent, sneaking inside the T cell and cutting the communication lines before the order to attack can ever even be sent.
And the way it does this is just so incredibly clever. Think of it like a chain of command. First, Tacrolimus slips into the T cell and finds a partner protein. This new duo then goes on a mission to find and destable a critical enzyme called calcineurin. Now, calcineurin is the gatekeeper. Its job is to activate a messenger that then travels into the cell's command center, the nucleus, to sound the alarm. That alarm is a molecule called interleukin-2, which is basically the attack signal for the entire T-cell army. By taking out the gatekeeper, Tacrolimus makes sure that alarm is never sounded. The army never gets the call to mobilize. The attack is stopped before it can even begin.
Now, this amazing ability to silence the immune system isn't just used for organ transplants. Turns out, it has another, very different application. So you can see here, it's the same drug on two totally different missions. When you take it as a pill or an IV, you're getting what's called systemic use. It suppresses your entire immune system to protect that new organ. But it can also be made into an ointment. When you put it on your skin, it uses that exact same T-cell silencing power, but it only does it locally, right where you applied it. This is perfect for calming down inflammatory skin conditions like eczema without affecting the rest of your body.
But here's the thing, a power this immense, it always comes with a catch. This hero drug has a really dangerous dark side, and using it safely is a constant challenge.
This right here, this is the core of the problem. A narrow therapeutic index is the fancy way of saying you are walking on a razor's edge. There is very little room for error. A little too much of the drug, and you're in the toxicity zone. A little too little, and the organ is at risk of rejection. It's an incredibly fine line,
and the potential for harm is widespread. The biggest and most common problem is kidney damage, that's nephrotoxicity. But it doesn't stop there. It can also mess with the nervous system, causing things like tremors. It can lead to high blood pressure, even new-onset diabetes. It throws your body's electrolytes out of whack, and of course, the big one, by tamping down your immune system, it leaves you wide open to serious infections and over the long haul, a higher risk of developing certain cancers.
And if that wasn't complicated enough, the drug is unbelievably sensitive. So many things can throw its levels into chaos. Something as innocent as grapefruit juice can actually block the enzyme that breaks the drug down, causing the levels in your blood to spike into toxic territory. On the flip side, a common herbal supplement like St. John's wort can rev up that same enzyme, causing the drug levels to plummet, putting that precious organ right back in danger. So, with a drug this high stakes, with such a tiny margin for error, you have to be wondering, how did doctors and patients possibly manage this safely every single day?
Well, the answer is a process called therapeutic drug monitoring, or TDM. And really, it's just what it sounds like. It means patients on tacrolimus are getting their blood drawn all the time, especially at the beginning to measure the exact concentration of the drug. Then, doctors can fine-tune the dose, sometimes by just a tiny fraction, to keep that level in the perfect Goldilocks zone. Not too high, not too low, but just right. And here's the huge reason why that constant monitoring is so absolutely critical. When you take a tacrolimus pill, the amount that actually gets absorbed into your bloodstream, it's called bioavailability, is only around 20 to 25%. But here's the kicker. That number varies wildly from person to person. Two people can take the exact same dose and have completely different levels in their blood. That's why one-size-fits-all dosing is impossible, and why TDM is non-negotiable.
All right, let's wrap this up with a few last key facts you should know. First, this drug carries what's called a black box warning. That's the FDA's most serious alert, highlighting that big risk of infection and cancer. It's also broken down almost entirely by one specific enzyme in the liver, and that's the main culprit behind all those food and drug interactions we talked about. And finally, it's cleared from the body mostly through bile, not urine, which is a really important detail for anyone with liver issues.
At the end of the day, this quote just says it all. Using tacrolimus is not a prescribe it and forget it situation. It is a constant, careful, continuous balancing act, weighing the incredible life-saving benefits against some very real and very serious risks.
From a pinch of Japanese dirt to a cornerstone of modern medicine, the story of tacrolimus is just an amazing testament to the power of nature and the brilliance of science. It really leaves us with a huge question to think about, right? As we get better and better at intervening in our body's most complex systems, what's next? What does the future hold for making control over our own immune response even safer and even more precise?